Now, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, will begin the implementation of government's policy directive on the reversal of the reduction of values of imports on selected items, otherwise known as benchmark values, beginning tomorrow, Tuesday, January 4. The reversal will affect selected items from all three categories on which the reversal was applied. Here's Joy News' Kuku Asante with a breakdown on a statement released by the authority.
According to this letter signed by Colonel Damois, who is actually the commissioner in charge of internal revenue, this policy is being reversed because government has taken note of the concerns that have been raised by some of the stakeholders. We know that in particular, AGI, the Association of Ghana Industries, have been raising some concerns about what an impact this will have on their local industries. And so they've largely advocated and lobbied for its reversal. And so finally, it's been reversed. This letter is actually addressed to most of GRAs and their sectors all across the country to explain to them how they are going to be able to optimize the returns of the reversal of this policy. And so what we know is that government initiated this policy in 2019 to cushion importers. And so when you are importing these class of goods under this policy, it came with certain amounts of discount, up to in some instances more than 30%. And that was expected to cushion importers. And GUTA in particular was one of those who were very much excited about the idea that this policy had been introduced. And so now that it is being reversed, they are up in arms and we'll get there very soon. But then so just like you mentioned, cars, sugar, rice, and a number of things that are made in major ways imported into Ghana are going to be reversed and they are not going to attract discounts anymore. And so Colonel Kwejo Damois is telling their sector commanders, DRA, and all the officers in the nationwide to ensure that they are able to fully optimize this situation and ensure that the returns are maximum for government.
Now, what does this mean in simple terms for the layman?
Mapito, so what this means in simple terms is that the importation of these class of goods will revert to their old and former prices. That means cost of importing these goods will go up. So if we're importing a car for, say, 50,000 Ghana cedis, and it was discounted 30%, this 30% is coming back again. And so you are going to pay the full cost of importing that vehicle. This will ordinarily mean that the importer is going to pass on this to the consumer and ensure that you pay exactly for what they have paid at the port. And so for much of the things that Ghanaians use a lot, sugar, rice, that the country is not self-sufficient. And for which this policy has been reversed, it means that the prices are going to go up significantly by at least 30%, because that is by how much they were discounted at the ports. And that is what GUTA has been explaining,
So we mentioned sugar, you mentioned pasta, spaghetti, noodle products, palm oil that will be affected by this change in policy. Can you give us more products and goods?
Right, so vehicles, machinery, equipment that are actually needed by even industries in Ghana to operate are going to go up. There are 32 classes of goods that are going to attract this 30% reversal discount. And AGI have been lobbying to ensure that this is reversed. And so machinery, pasta, sugar, rice, these are some of the major things on the list of these 32 discounted items.
Kuku Asante there, speaking earlier with Mapiso CBD on News Desk. Let's welcome President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng. Happy New Year to you, sir. What are the repercussions for consumers and traders as the reversal takes effect?
We are going to suffer. It's not going to be easy. And the impact is going to be very negative. And it's going to even affect the government-owned policy against the COVID, because we need to eat before we can fight the COVID pandemic. And then food commodities, prices of food commodities are going to go up. So then it goes against government-owned policy to combat the COVID pandemic. Don't forget that we are in the fourth wave. The COVID cases are going up every day. And is this the time the world effect of the pandemic is still very high. World commodity prices have gone up the roof. Shipping freight charges have gone up astronomically high. When you come down locally, we have introduced new taxes into the system last year. The fees and charges at the port are still very high, and we are still going to reverse this last straw of hope of businesses. It's not going to be easy, and that's why we have called on government, because government promised us of a broader stakeholder engagement, and we have not done that. When Ministry of Finance came out with its press conference, they also acknowledged the fact that this is going to affect the consuming public and then the importers, and so they want to find a mitigating factor. We haven't sat down with them to do all this, and who is chasing who? Who is chasing government to introduce this, to penalize the people of Ghana? Let it not be said that they are listening to AGI and push the generality of Ghanaians into hardship. It's not fair, and so we will still will prefer that government sit down with us, as it has been promised us, that we have to do broader stakeholder engagement, and then find a way that we can prefer alternative solutions to this. Otherwise, it's going to push us into a great hardship, seriously, because the consuming public, their purchasing power is still not high, it's constant, and then prices of goods and services keep increasing. It means that it's going to affect turnover, and even the volume of trade is going to go down, which might not even help government itself in its quest to enhance on its revenue collection. So the time is not right. The time is just not right, and it will be seen as insensitive on the part of government. And we plead with government that we sit down as early as possible to iron out the issues and see what we can all do, that it will help government, and that it will also help the trading populace as well as the consuming public.
When you said we are going to suffer, I smiled because you put it bluntly, but that is not a matter to smile about, and nobody wants to hear we are going to suffer in this new year. You talk about hoping to engage government. Isn't it a little too late, seeing that it's going to take effect tomorrow?
No, that is what government promised us, that we are not going to reverse the benchmark policy until we have had broader stakeholder consultation, and it hasn't come. Probably their consultation is only with AGI, which is not fair. Now, we have Pharmaceutical Association. You remember they also came out with press conference. The car dealers, the trading public, the generality of importers and all that. This is not the right time. The benchmark policy is the last straw of hope for businesses. Had it not been the benchmark policy, we wouldn't have done and know what to do during 2020, 2021, and even now that we are in the fourth wave of the COVID, where the cases are going up by the day. And so the time to do this definitely is not right, and that we still have unfinished business with government, and that we have to sit down as soon as possible so that do not put any unreasonable hardship on the people of Ghana and then the trading community.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph, for being. We will be following the story closely. Whenever that meeting happens, let us will follow it up. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year once again. So, Chief Finance Officer at Valley View University, Dr. Williams Pepra, is on now with some more perspective to this story. Happy New Year to you, Dr. Pepra. How is the reversal of the benchmark policy economically prudent?
Happy New Year to you, Darrell, and good afternoon to your listeners. If you listen to government, when this issue came up, government made two main arguments. The first one was to focus on improvement in local industries. And then the second argument government made was to ensure that our foreign exchange earnings, we are able to bring it down, because one of the major drivers of our foreign currency or our city devaluing is the issue of importation. So government is, if you listen and if you read, you never saw anywhere where government was talking about revenue generation or increasing revenue with this particular decision. So government is focusing on this policy of making sure that the country becomes a production or manufacturing hub instead of a country that only receives imports. And in effect, economically, this is going to affect the standard of living or cost of living within the country. If we are going to see inflation going up, around November is around 12.2. So we should anticipate that in Q1 and Q2, our inflation rate is going to go up, which is really going to affect the economy and then the citizenry. And as Dr. Obeng mentioned, purchasing power also, if you notice, government in 2022, government is only going to increase salaries by 7%. So we will not have the purchasing power to be able to buy the things as we need if prices increase. The other effect is that if the local industry or manufacturing firms don't come up to meet the shortfall that will come as a result of this particular impact, there will be shortage of goods and services, goods especially within the country, specifically sugar and rice. The question is our industry ripe, or can we produce the quantities that will be able to match the imports, so that as government is trying to focus on local industries to move up, we'll be able to achieve this. If we are not able to achieve this in the first 6 months of the year, I am sure that we may have to go and revisit this policy. All right, because as we speak, this policy is going to bring a little bit of hardship, because the things that are mentioned or that are categorized are what we use daily. In economics, we say inelastic demand. We need them all the time. And if they are going to go up by 30 to 50%, and our salaries are going to be increased by only 7%, it's going to be a problem.
All right, welcome back to the marketplace. Apologies, I lost my audio to Dr. Williams-Peprah. Hopefully you are still there. I was just making the point that GUTA is warning about prices going up. You mentioned the fact that the consumer would have to pay the price at the end of the day if we want to support local production. I'm just wondering, any other ways to mitigate the impact on the traders and consumers?
I think that as Dr. Obeng has mentioned, that meeting must happen between the traders and government, and then we should find out which items or which items in the category or the basket can we implement now, which one can we defer.
Right.
Looking at what we produce within the country, and then the decision should be made based on that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Williams-Peprah. Happy New Year to you as well. We'll keep engaging in the course of the year. You're watching The Marketplace. My name is Darryl Kwao.